This is my friend George, and he's a self-proclaimed professional at video games. But today I'm gonna teach him how to meal prep just a few things. So this way, because of your busy schedule, right? Either working from home or being at work all day, I'm gonna make you or teach you how to make some meals for the week. The big thing that I tell people too is like, you don't need to meal prep every meal. Meal prep the meal that you think is gonna be the most difficult, or the one where you're like, I don't really wanna go out today for either lunch or dinner. A lot of the time breakfast, we don't meal prep because it's like, you just start your day.
Yep.
So in that case, which meal for you do you feel like would be the easiest to substitute?
I think dinner is the one where sometimes where like just the day goes long, you don't want to in the evening, then now I have to go cook. Right?
Okay.
So often I just go out eating, but it would be nicer to have something that, you know, I self-made and it's cheaper too.
Perfect. How many times have you beaten Brian Kibler on camera?
Okay, but that's not...
It's pro gamer. I said it here,
okay.
so you said it here first. What I had tasked George with before starting this video is I had let him pick from my brand new product called Cooking with Chaos. So yes, this entire series and this video is sponsored by Cooking with Chaos.
Are you tired of having the same boring thing for dinner every night? Are you frustrated with trying to make complicated meals you found on Pinterest you might not even like? When you're cooking with Chaos, those worries all go away. Cooking with Chaos is a brand new infinite recipe card system that lets you pick and choose from 20 different proteins, 20 different sauces, and 20 different sides. Want something simple? Pick 3 cards and make a meal. Do you want all the chaos? Combine multiple sauces, proteins, and sides for something chaotic and delicious. Making dinner with your favorite person and you both want something different? Pick cards together and make your custom combo. You and your favorite person pick 3 different cards, then roll to see which combo you make. Cooking with Chaos has infinite possibilities. With full ingredient lists on the front and full recipes with macronutrients on the back, you will have everything you need to never be bored in the kitchen again. So what are you waiting for? Start Cooking with Chaos today by pre-ordering at cookingwithchaos.gg. That's cookingwithchaos.gg, and you will receive 3 free cards from a future expansion pack with every pre-order. Head over to cookingwithchaos.gg to pre-order now.
And George picked 5 that we're gonna make today. These are the 5 cards that George had picked. We're gonna be making kufta kebab. Is there a reason why you went with the kufta? I'm actually curious.
I do miss doner kebab.
I figured it's like, I was gonna say doner kebab style, okay.
It feels easy enough, but also is something that I've never tried.
Okay.
Like I've tried maybe making a burger before, but like only like once or so. So
Yeah.
this is the closest, but I like the flavor profile of coffee.
Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna make the kufta kebab burger, miso cucumber salad, which is one of my favorites, tzatziki sauce to go with the kufta, I'm assuming. That one's delicious. Pickled red onions, which I'm actually gonna talk about later, but this is one of the sides. And I convinced him to add some roasted potatoes. So this way you have a pretty substantial meal, and we're gonna make everything, put them in the meal prep boxes, and I'm gonna send him home with them. And he has his own knife. I gave him a knife, so he's gonna help me prep all of this.
Life's great.
How often do you cook at home?
3-4 times a week.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But, so usually it's usually like a big bowl of pasta, and then I have enough for like 3 or 4 dishes.
Okay.
Because I just put in like a whole box of pasta and like a whole tin can of crushed tomatoes and all of it. But yeah. Usually.
Okay. The one thing that with pastas too, so you might do this, but I'm not sure. I always tell people is like always separate the sauce and the pasta, so that way it doesn't keep absorbing the sauce.
I throw the pasta into the sauce, then finish cooking the pasta in the sauce.
Oh, George.
So that's how I do it.
Okay.
But like it's because the first dish is really nice, and the warm-up ones
next
I don't care.
3 or 4.
No, I'm fine with them.
Okay. So I'll show you a couple of techniques because you have cold items and hot items.
Yes.
So what we'll end up doing is we're going to combine the hot items together and the cold items together.
Wow.
This is not something I do often, so it's up to you. But this way, you're going to have these two in the meal prep box together. This is going to be the kufta and the potato. These will be on the side.
Okay, that
Right?
makes sense.
So that way you can just throw the potatoes and the burger in the microwave and then top it with everything.
So not put in everything into the tzatziki sauce and then store it
No,
like
don't
that.
stir it, just turn it into slop. Okay, so we're gonna actually start off, and we talked about this before, we're gonna start off with the things that take the longest first, because they have to cook. So that first one's gonna be the kufta burger.
Let's go.
Okay,
Okay.
let's do this.
Wash the hands before.
Yes.
So that's the very
Oh,
important.
because you were just eating, so wash your hands.
Yes. I'll wash it again.
I washed my hands already.
I already did. As soon as I
Wash them
touch
again.
your cats, I'm like, okay, I gotta wash my
that's
hands
fair.
now.
Oh, here, you get your own towel too.
Oh.
Fancy. I always put mine either in a pocket or around my loop, just so that way you have something, maybe, you know, and dry your hands, or you want to wipe something down.
What's in my pocket?
Ooh, it's happy to see me. Okay, so the kufta kebab gets parsley. This is a lot though. We're probably not gonna need all of this, even though we're doing the full recipe.
So now I pick them one by one?
You can pick them one by one, or you can do one of these and just peel off some of the leaves, because I'm lazy. And this will help us get enough parsley. And then we just pick off the big stems.
Does this only work with a really good knife, or should any knife?
Only a really good knife. Because if you use anything that's kind of dull, it's just gonna catch and just kind of it's just gonna bend the parsley.
Okay.
So now we can just kind of pick through some of this instead.
Okay. You say we, but it's me, right?
I mean, this is your
Yeah.
This is one of the tedious parts. So we're not gonna sit here all day.
I thought the most tedious part is gonna be eating, but you know.
How would that be tedious? That's the best part.
That's the joke, man. That's the joke.
Man, see
Where do you
it went
this?
Oh, here.
What does parsley add to the dish?
It adds this parsley doesn't inherently have a ton of flavor. It has a very distinct flavor, which is nice, but I actually like that freshness that it gives to it. It kind of also, in this application, since we're gonna be mixing it straight into the beef, you're gonna have this difference in textures, right? So you're gonna have like a little bit of freshness, you're gonna taste the leaves of parsley, but then you're gonna have everything else that goes with it. So I think this is actually pretty good. This one, you can do a couple of ways. If you wanted to, you can use a Roboku or I always say Roboku, a food processor, but it's gonna make it a little more homogeneous.
Okay. Obviously, I own all of these super fancy toys.
Yes,
Just like imagine if I didn't.
Okay,
If I didn't own these like Robocops.
Robocops.
What would I do?
So I'm gonna split this with you so I can show you some of it. Oh yes, grab your new knife.
Yeah.
So now what I like to do with parsley, a lot of people are kind of afraid, but it's okay to roll it or like bunch it up. Parsley is very resilient, especially when it's fresh. And this is flat leaf Italian parsley, I should point out. So you're gonna have yourself.
So you can get this at any store.
Almost every store should have flat leaf. So now once you have your hash roll, you're going to put the knife, make sure the tip's on the cutting board. And you said you know how to use a knife.
Yeah.
And we're gonna just do a rough chop first, right? So this way we kind of break it down. And then once you get towards the end, then I like to gather what was left, the stuff that we couldn't cut, and then I put it back into the pile, right? And then you use your knife, combine it again and try to roll it back up just a little bit and give it another chop. This way you're kind of gathering some of the big leaves, making sure that it all gets combined. And then honestly, like this is a weird method. I don't know if I would recommend it. A lot of people keep using their fingers, but there's nothing to hold.
Yeah.
So I don't want to cut my fingers, so I just put my knuckles there.
Yeah, that's how I was taught by my mom, is to always do the monkey grip.
Yeah.
Right?
No, the monkey grip is good. And for parsley, because I'm worried that like, even if it's here, like this kind of a grip, like the monkey or the claw, I completely tuck my fingers and I just, that's what I'm saying. So my fingers are not touching the parsley, it's just kind of guiding the knife.
Oh, okay. So it's like more in the air.
Yeah, exactly. So that way you're just kind of guiding it a little bit. Then when you're here, this is where you take your knife, put your fingers on the tip of the blade here, sideways. So you're gonna tilt your knife that way. Yep. Now we're only gonna rock the knife and then we're gonna start chopping. Yep. And then once you get to the end, put your knife on the outside, scrape it back in, scrape it in from the other side too. There you go. So it's all piled up and then keep going. So this way.
But now
you can do it either way, yeah. Okay. So I kind of just go at whatever angle feels comfortable. And also at home, don't share a cutting board with people. All right, your parsley's looking pretty good.
What? So I told you I'm a professional gamer.
Professional gamer. So this is what my parsley looks like, right? I'm pretty happy with that. Too? Yep. And I want you to show yours too. That looks solid. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell there's any difference there. So that's really, really good. If you're scraping a lot on the cutting board.
Always the back.
Yeah, you do the back of the knife. So we're just gonna combine our stuff together now.
Nice.
Yeah.
I actually bought one of those things with the scraper with the little...
the bench scraper. Yeah, you can use, do I have one in here somewhere?
Yeah, this and then a little tray. So you can like put it on the tray and then move it.
Which is
very
great.
Nice.
Yeah, which is great. So if you want to use a bench scraper, boom, pop stuff in. Which actually, George, if you want to do that, here's the bench scraper. And then we're gonna use this bowl for the kebab.
Because this is where we will make the whole meat, right?
Exactly.
So we throw this. Do I use then the knife too?
You can, yeah, you can use your knife or you can use your hands, whatever's comfortable for you. One day I was working in an Irish pub. I was in a hurry to get out of there and I wasn't paying attention. I keep my knives very sharp. I wasn't paying attention and I was cutting chives. So I did this, remove the chives from my knife, and then I did this. And I sliced the tip of my finger off completely. Okay. So be careful if you're doing that. So if you want to use this method where you're using the bench scraper, it is safer. Just don't dig into the knife too much.
Especially if you're holding it like this, you can easily forget and then you try to
absolutely, yeah. So, don't be too distracted while you're cooking. Admittedly, a lot of the time I just have like Pitch Perfect on the TV while I'm meal prepping, so.
Pitch Perfect?
Dude, it's the best.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so next up is a little bit of onion. We're not gonna eat all of this. We only need about 4 ounces, which is probably half this onion. I'll just cut it along the stem, keeps it fresher longer, and we're only gonna use half.
Okay.
The other half, Always put it in Tupperware unless you like your refrigerator to absolutely stink like onion. We're gonna use half the onion, and if you wanna remove the stem, go for it.
What I usually would do is I cut part of here and part of here to be able to peel it easier.
Yeah. And then I will say also, let's get some of the part. It won't matter too much. I like a clean cutting board, so you're not having a bunch of stuff all over the place. Because it's the same dish, it's okay to have this.
Actually, I realized I only cut this to keep the stem, so it's easier to hold it together.
Let me see how you do this,
So I would do this, and then I would start to, and like peel the first layer too, is what I like.
Yes, always peel the outer layer and the first layer. Otherwise it can get, might be stringiness to it. It's just not very good to eat. So this is supposed to be small dice, or closer to a mince, to be honest.
Okay.
So have you ever done like a mince or small dice before?
Yes. So I'm usually very lazy, and I saw somewhere, I think from like Kenji Lopez or something, where they cut like one in here, and then you do like go in like this, and that is like the easiest cut. But the normal one that I've learned is you just go straight down, and then you cut twice here, and then you go down.
Yes, so that method is great if you're going to use it for like soups or sauces where you're going to see the onion really well. Since this is going to be mixed into the beef, you can cut it however you really want. That's easier to work with, because then we're going to do the same method we use for the parsley.
Oh, just cut it small. Okay.
Right.
So this is a rough cut first.
Exactly. So you want to make it like smaller rough cuts. It doesn't have to be beautiful or anything like that.
So then I would like go like this, and then go like down there. This is a nice knife.
This is beautiful.
And then I would
Oh, look at those skills. Ladies, look at this. This is amazing. I'm genuinely impressed. No notes.
And then towards the end, I would go like this.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to. And this is how it would go.
I'd hire you, no problem.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
What?
Pro gamer.
That's a pro gamer move right there. That's so now once you're here, do the same kind of method we did for the, even though this cut is really good, you just want to get some of the bigger pieces, right? So that way it's not too big inside the kufta.
When you're saying like before, you mean the rocking one?
Yes.
You want to do not the roll up.
No, not, you can't really roll this up.
So you mean just like go through them rough cut?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then also the way George is doing it, he's bringing the knife towards himself. You can go either way, whatever you're more comfortable with. I always start away from me and then come back, but it's really just personal preference at that point.
And I want everything to come to me. You know what I mean?
Because you do have a good amount of onion, you can also do this, and then you could do the rocking motion, right?
Like this.
So this way you're kind of, your knife isn't being overwhelmed, right? You're kind of just using the middle of it. And then that's how I usually do it.
I like this, because it looks way more orderly too.
It is orderly, and you get a little bit more of an even cut. But again, if you're in a hurry, you can just throw this in like a food processor, just not too long. Otherwise it purees the onions, and you don't really want to puree them.
So how small do you want to go then?
This actually looks pretty good.
Okay.
So same thing, you can use your bench scraper. I don't know who Laura is, but Rachel got Laura's ground beef. So shout out to Laura. Now that we've done most of our prep, I don't want to get my board dirty because we're going to meal prep other stuff. So realistically, we're just going to wipe this down with like a damp towel instead of washing it because we don't really need to. Then, are we transitioning?
Yeah, I was trying to transition to a nice board.
Oh, no, it's fine. No, the board can stay like this for now. Here, I'll even get some of these onions. So we're gonna take, so I bought you 92.8 ground beef. It's really lean, so you can use whatever you want, but the reason why I like the leaner meat for this is because we're actually gonna bake this today. So this way it doesn't lose a lot of its fat. If you use a fattier cut, it's much nicer in a saute pan. Okay, because it doesn't shrink as much.
Okay. And this is beef?
This is beef.
You can use chicken too?
You can use chicken, pork, lamb.
Okay, whatever I prefer.
Honestly, yeah, exactly. Okay. Anything you prefer. This is 2 pounds of ground beef, and it's going to make you quite a few portions. So I went with 2 pounds because we're gonna do 5 to 6 meals. So that's 32 ounces, right? So we're going like 5 to 6 ounces per meal, right? Which is about 45 to 50 grams of protein, which is huge. A lot of meals you get these days are not gonna have that amount, but it keeps you really full. It's really healthy for you.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm used to the metric system, so any metrics you were just talking about, I have no idea what
That's
they mean.
okay.
I'll just believe you.
That's okay. This is some amount of grams of protein. So on the recipe, it says 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. So this, when I cook, I always use kosher salt. I'll put a link down below as well, but we use diamond crystal. And that way it's a less salty salt. And so you can adjust it more finely.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I mean, first it sounds weird. Yeah. Why would I want my salt to be less salty? But I guess it's just for proportioning. So it's easier, like,
yeah.
It's like instead of grading on a scale from 1 to 10, you're grading on a scale from 1 to 100.
1 to 100, exactly. That's the best way to describe it.
So this is 2 tablespoons of kosher salt.
2 teaspoons.
2 teaspoons of kosher salt.
Yep.
Okay.
And then we're gonna do about...
So if someone didn't have kosher kosher salt at home, what would they use?
You can use table salt, but if you use table salt, just use less.
Okay.
Right, than you would for kosher salt.
And as always, it like to your flavor.
To your flavor, yeah. So if you really want to, you can take a little bit of this and cook it and taste it before we make everything. But I think you're gonna be okay here.
No, that sounds tedious.
Exactly. And then about a tablespoon of ground black pepper. So do you want to try to do just a teaspoon, whatever that might be? So a teaspoon.
Okay. I do love cumin.
Okay, so go for it. Just do it. Just do whatever you want.
Is this a teaspoon?
That looks good. Same thing here.
This is not smoked.
This is not smoked paprika.
Okay, it's probably a little much.
It's fine.
I do love paprika. If spices were bad, they wouldn't have fought wars for it.
Oh yeah. Oh, exactly. That's good. That's a good point. 1 egg goes into here. The egg is going to help bind this because again, it's less fat. And a lot of people say, well, why don't you just use fattier meat? Because the egg actually coagulates the meat a bit more and helps bind it all together. Okay. Versus just using animal fat.
So what I learned is to hit it on a flat surface, not on the rim of this, because otherwise it is going to break the shell more. But this was bad.
That's okay. So put your thumb straight into it. Yeah, there you go. Well, that was a stiff egg. Now mix it all together.
Okay, with my hands.
Oh yeah, get in there. Just get in there. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yes, this is the best part. It's not weird. I promise.
So the idea is here to get everything in the meat, right? So the onions and parsley and like distribute the egg, I assume?
Yes, exactly. Make sure you can no longer see any bits of egg.
No? Gandalf? This is for me this time, not for you.
I don't think Gandalf cares.
So this looks to me like
really good.
One burger.
Yeah. So now I'll show you how, when I know it's done, if I bring all of this out and see how there's almost nothing left, that's when you know this is good.
We have onions here. Salt bay it.
Look at how nice that looks.
Yeah, okay. That's my baby.
That's your baby. So we're gonna take about half and half. And then since we're doing, let's say we'll aim for 6 bentos. Sure. It's gonna be easier, right? Sure. So then we just each get to make 3 portions out of each half, realistically. Okay. So again, I'm just kind of guessing. So what I like to do is ball them up first, like this. And then if you have one that's like smaller than another, just steal from one of the bigger ones. Then once you're here, you just make it kind of like a kufta or a doner.
And like the shape is fine, right? I can make it like a burger. I can make it into like chewabchichi kind of size. Yeah.
And then when you're here, make it as big as you want, but you want to make sure it's even, so it bakes evenly. But once we're here, flatten it a little bit. Okay. So this way it'll cook really nicely. Then plop it on, and you see how mine's a little bit longer?
Yeah, okay.
So make yours, however you're doing them, just make them even so they cook a little bit evenly. Yep, that's it. All right. I think we can probably... This is all of our kebabs. This didn't take very long, I think, especially considering we're making 6 meals out of this. George wanted to do 2 burger styles, so we did those. These are just gonna go in the oven while we work with everything else. So by the time these are done, everything else should be done.
So what heat? And I should preheat, I assume.
Yes, our oven has been preheating. I started it before we had started the video. It's at 425, and we're gonna bake it probably for like 12 to 15 minutes. So I like to check, right? Okay. At 12 minutes, I'll check. See if they're cooked. You can use a thermometer, you can poke them, whatever you're comfortable with. But I cook these to about 160. Okay. Just because they're ground beef. I'm gonna pop these in real quick. We're gonna work on the next thing that does take 20 to 25 minutes to cook is the potatoes, right? And I convinced George to have potatoes in here.
Yeah, it's very hard to convince a German to eat more potatoes.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
But you know, if I have to, I'll eat a little bit more.
I was like, you gotta have a little, some more carbs in there. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to do one of these, and this one looks like I'm gonna throw this piece away.
So with skin, without skin?
I always just keep the skin on.
Okay.
I like it. It actually has quite a bit of vitamins. There's more fiber and stuff in it.
These are just russet, or
these are just Idaho russet potatoes.
Okay.
Yep. You can use a creamier potato like a Yukon, but I find for a roasted potato, these are nicer. So with these, cut off the ends of them. Oh, look, you already got ahead of yourself because I'm talking too much. We're cutting off the bottom and the top, so this way it sits on the cutting board for the next part. So this way, we're gonna do a very simple cut. We're just gonna cut straight down the middle, and once you have your 2 halves, I just cut them into about ½ an inch thick. Well, I'll show you the next step so you can start here, but I didn't cut mine on this one yet because this one's a little bit bigger. So if you have a bigger potato like this, what I'll do is I'll cut this into 3 instead of half, right? Just so it's not so big.
Now I just go across, right?
Yep, or maybe even 4. Let's go with it. This is a thick potato.
What size are we looking for?
So you want to do what I call like a bite-sized piece, but I'll do ½ an inch, right? You don't want them to be too small because then when you roast them, they fall apart.
Is this too small?
No, that looks great. Yeah. Again, the big part with meal prep that I try to think of is simplicity without losing too much of the quality, right? Otherwise, you just don't want to do it. That's the hardest part with meal prep. All right. It's a lot of potato. So we have all our potato. Now we just have to season them and roast them. That's how easy this is. So you can take your bench scraper.
Oh no, not single potato by single potato.
No. You know how to do this. I don't have to show you this. You're German. You grew up with potatoes.
Yeah.
All right. So now when we're here, I always tell people like season them how you want. So on the cards, we have specific seasonings, but if you have like your favorite blackening spice or you found a cool rub you want to use, just use it.
Okay.
Right. So you can do whatever you want.
Any spice.
Literally anything. Potatoes are pretty neutral. I love just salt, pepper.
I'm just kidding.
That I'm not that fancy, sir. That's saffron. Get out of here. Anyways, we're gonna need oil in here, right? You can't roast potatoes without oil. There's no point. Oh, that's fine. He's dead. And then we have the spices. So for this one, we're going to go onion powder, 2 teaspoons.
Why onion powder, not actual onions?
So the onion powder will coat the onions, right? Same thing with the garlic powder. And because we're roasting this at such a high temperature, the onions and garlic might burn before the potatoes are cooked.
And I'm just like,
you're just guessing.
Ballparking,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, a couple of teaspoons here and there. Dried oregano, same thing, about 2 teaspoons. And then unsurprisingly, paprika. So you pick 2 cards with paprika, which actually...
you picked this card? So.
I did. What's nice though is that if you're making multiple cards or you're meal prepping, yeah sure, use some similar spices.
And then
a little bit of pepper.
Toss it?
Yep, we're gonna do black pepper. Don't be afraid of it. There you go. Keep going. Oh, wait, he stopped. Yeah, I was telling George earlier, in culinary school, we had to use the beans in a pan to learn, right? So when you're tossing, make sure that this always comes back to you, right? So, and also smaller movements are better than bigger movements because then you're just, right? You see how I'm kind of like curling it towards me? And then that way you're not bringing it's the same principle of like, don't raise the knife above your knuckles.
And this looks pretty good already.
Yeah, this is done.
Is that it?
That's literally it. And then we're just gonna roast them. Sheet tray. Okay, swap them on here. Make them as even as possible. So, yep, make sure they're not stacked. You know this, you're the potato king over there in Germany. I'm not telling you about potatoes, you should be telling me about potatoes. So same thing, I'm gonna bake this for about 20 to 25 minutes. Same temperature, I'm cooking the kebab, so it's pretty convenient. I'm just gonna pop them in there. The timer's off. I'm gonna pull out the kuftas. Look how plump those boys are.
Oh, you can tell this one you made and this one I made.
That's nice though. These are great. So those are the kufta kebabs and you can see they held their shape pretty well. So next up are gonna be the sides. And the first side that we're making is the cucumber salad. This guy. This one is a miso cucumber salad.
We need a cucumber.
We have one.
Yeah.
1 cucumber. Should have been more, but that's okay. So this is an English cucumber, technically. We use these in a lot of Japanese food, a lot of Japanese cuisine when I was in sushi bars. Give that a rinse, and then I'll show you how we're going to prep that. We're gonna use about this much for the tzatziki sauce. Okay, so I'm gonna just remove that and we'll deal with that later. But for the marinated cucumber, we're gonna cut it in half first. The reason why we don't immediately cut it is because we wanna remove the seeds.
Oh.
Yes, the seeds are where most of the water is as well, and it like dilutes the cucumber a lot.
Interesting.
Okay, it also gives you a nicer texture for stuff like this.
Interesting.
Take a spoon. So what I like to do is start at the bottom, because if you start up here, then it gets everywhere. So I always just gently start scraping, remove the seeds.
And can you use that for anything?
I've actually used it for like cucumber water, but since it's such a small amount, I just toss it. And then that's it, right? So go ahead and try that. This way you actually get like a nicer, almost meaty texture to it. Yeah, you be gentle at first, so you're doing fast motions. There you go. Because if you try to dig into it, you might break the cucumber. That's it.
Interesting.
Yes. Then from here, you can do one of 2 things. We can slice it by hand, and since it's not a lot, we're just gonna do it by hand, but you want it pretty thin. So you're doing like oh, it's perfect. So like 4 millimeters, maybe? Or millimeters? I don't know.
That's like 2.
2 millimeters? Sure. I would say less, like 1/8 of an inch. This is great. It's like having my own sous chef. I almost don't have to do anything. That's perfect, chef. Thank you.
Perfect.
That's
chef.
great.
Thank you, chef.
Yes. I'm going to invite some other gamer friend here, and it's going to be a disaster now. So now we have your salad, right? Which is gonna be a small side, so when it marinates, you're gonna get like this much proportion. First, before you scrape this in here, I have a little bit of hot water. And the hot water, it's just to help dilute the honey. So if you use cold water, it's kind of a pain. You can also just use sugar if you don't want to use honey. So if you have like a honey allergy or you just don't like honey, you don't have to use it. Oh, before you do that too, make sure you take that spoon we were just using and stir up the honey. Yes, this way it does break it down a little bit.
Is there any specific honey you would say I would have to use, or any honey works?
Any local, I just buy literally this just says local Northwest honey blend. Okay, this guy, we're gonna need 2 2 tablespoons basically. So you can guess, basically add that. And then this is up to you. We only need about 1 tablespoon of sesame seed, but if you want to put more, you can put more. And then you said you also like chili pepper.
Oh, yes.
So however much chili flake you want in the recipe, it actually just says pepper flakes to taste. So
I think that's probably good.
perfect. Yep, you can stir that. And then the last thing is going to be a little bit of miso paste.
Okay. This looks stirred, but
oh, I did have another cucumber.
I lied.
Do you want more cucumber?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. What's your favorite potato dish?
Ooh, oh, man, I sound so basic. I like steak fries in particular. So like the thicker cut potatoes that are baked and then fried, they're really nice because they like almost are like that pillowy kind of potato on the inside. But if I were to pick a straight up dish, I also really like potato skins. I don't know if that's a big thing anywhere, but like
it's not a thing in Germany.
I ate so many of them working at a Scottish and Irish restaurant that it's like potato skins were always good. But I don't know, what's your favorite potato dish out there? I would actually be curious.
I do like the a gratin.
What is it?
It's like do the Americans say au gratin?
Oh, yeah. Potato gratin. That's actually a really great one too.
Gratin.
Yeah.
The French way.
Gratin.
Gratin.
I think that's a great option too. I didn't even think of that one. That one's really delicious. And then once you add yours, stir that up. We're gonna still season it with salt, but I want you to taste for the salt because of the miso.
Okay.
So if you're gonna make it with miso or soy sauce at home, the big thing is that you might have a different miso. It might be more salty than something else. So we finish it with the salt in this case.
So you wanted me to taste it first before it's salty?
I only put in a little bit.
Okay.
So I put in basically a half a teaspoon.
Okay.
The recipe calls for 1.5. So I'll do the little bit, taste it, and then go off of personal preference. So I like it to be a little more salty, but I know that it affects it in 3 or 4 days from now. More pepper, more salt, more
I would
honey.
probably add a little bit more salt.
Okay.
I don't think I taste the honey or the miso much.
Okay. If you
taste
want
it?
more, you can always add.
But I'm not sure how I would, like how it should taste.
Oh, it's so spicy. You put in so many chili flakes. You can definitely add more honey.
Okay.
Or add more sugar. So you can do one or the other.
Let's do it.
Do you want it sweeter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it a little bit.
So with this, it's not gonna break down the same, but we're gonna go for it at this point. And then while George is stirring that, I'm gonna get him my secret weapon.
This is a crossbow.
It's a meal prep container.
Oh.
Okay. So now once it's all stirred up, yeah, you just shake it. And it kind of like bruises it a little bit, right? Yes.
Polaroid picture?
Yeah. No, shake it like a salt shaker. Do they say both in that song?
They definitely
do.
say Polaroid picture.
They say salt shaker. I remember this from high school for some reason. That's how old I am.
Okay, tell us in the comments, do you remember it more for shake it like a Polaroid picture?
Or a salt shaker.
Yeah.
All right, this is done.
Cool.
Pop that in the fridge. You practicing your K-pop?
Yeah. Here.
K-pop?
This is the
What's the other heart? Well, I only know this one.
cat, a cat ear heart.
Cat ear heart? This one? Is this cat ear? These are like gang symbols, bro.
No, that's Naruto.
The last thing we have left is the tzatziki sauce. And luckily I have half a container of Greek yogurt in here because I've admittedly been eating it. But we're just gonna mix it in here to save some space and so we don't have to do more dishes. Now we saved a few cucumbers. We're gonna cut them the same way as far as removing the seeds.
Okay.
But we're not gonna slice them. We're gonna end up grating them into it instead.
So
realistically, you could have done this with the other stuff and just saved a portion of it, but I wanted to show it slightly different.
It's all good. So I cut them here and then now I use the...
Remove the seeds.
Okay, I've scraped it out.
Yep. So now we're going to, you can just grate this on the cutting board if you want, or if you're feeling fancy, you can do it directly on here. I don't actually recommend doing this, right?
Which size?
So you're gonna do pretty small, but you can do it on a plate. So this way it's easier to pick up. So there's like this kind of a finer one. Okay. You don't want to do the big shredded one, right? So do a little finer one and just grate directly on there.
This one?
I'm sorry, this side.
Yeah.
And if you're scared of using a box grater, you can maybe get a guard. I would just say be careful. And once you get to the end, you just eat it. Just eat the rest of it. It's a little snack.
How healthy are cucumbers?
Cucumbers are infinitely healthy. I'm pretty sure they have no calories. So now that you're here, keep this on here and then just drain some of the liquid. So you're gonna pick up the plate and you're gonna drain this in the sink. So that way you don't have all that. Yeah, you don't want all that in your sauce. Now you have all of this. If you wanna be really extra, and if you have time, you take the little bit that you have
and then you press it.
Just press the liquid out. Because look at how much comes out of it, right? This way you get a nice dry cucumber. And this way the tzatziki sauce itself doesn't get like super wet and soppy. Take this and look at how nice that is now. That just goes straight in there. And we can get a new spoon and stir that up. So we've been cooking meal prep for just about an hour now. And this is the last thing we have to do because I left George with a little bit of a present. So this way we kind of sped things up just a little bit. So once you have that, this is where we're gonna add in the rest of the stuff. You wanted more garlic.
Yes, I wanted more garlic.
So if you wanna prep the garlic out, you can. I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon tablespoon of dried dill, but you can use fresh. Sometimes fresh dill is very hard to find though. And I know George asked for more garlic. If you guys are making this at home, the one thing with garlic in tzatziki sauce is that since it's so fresh and pungent, don't leave it in there too long because then it just becomes so garlicky and it starts messing with the yogurt in different ways. But I think you can go 4 or 5 days and you'll be okay with that amount of garlic.
But can we really have too much garlic?
No.
No. So.
You'll just smell like it.
Yeah, well, it's dinner, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna see anyone anymore.
If you don't have to go into the office, it's great. Eat as much garlic as you want. So we're using a garlic press for this part of it. George was asking why. I just like the way it incorporates into the yogurt a little bit better, but you can just chop this up or you can put it in a food processor if you have it as well.
Does smell like garlic.
Oh, so nice.
I love
this.
that.
Then we have 2 lemons. What I like to do is just start with one and taste it and see if you want more lemon and then go from there. I got a lemon squeezer for you too. You actually go the other way.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing. That's what
Yeah.
I'm doing wrong.
So a lot of people think it goes like this because it lines up
yeah.
with this, right? But you put it this way, and then this part of it pushes the lemon out, and
That
you
makes
get.
so much more sense.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is not getting
It
a lot
doesn't
of
do
lemon
any
juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think of like the ones you would do for like orange juice. It almost looks the same.
Oh, yeah,
that's a juicy lemon.
That actually gets juice out, man. See, I don't know everything.
So
I'm
how many
learning,
lemons
I'm
have
learning.
you wasted till now? Infinite lemons.
300?
100.
No,
You only used 3 lemons?
Yeah,
George.
I don't use lemons that much.
That's fair. Look at how much lemon juice came out of there. Can you see that sloshing around in there?
Yeah, we would get about like 1/10 of that if I had it the other way around.
So now we're gonna mix this together, but I'm going to add the amount of salt that we need, which is to taste. But I'm gonna say you're gonna need quite a bit. So this is almost like 1 teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
And then also I like black pepper in my tzatziki. Do you want black pepper?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, it smells so good.
And because we're both gonna taste this, here's something that we would always have to do. You'd have a master spoon, which is the one you're stirring with, and then you have your tasting spoons. So take a little bit out, you put it on your spoon. Oh, there's a lot of garlic in there.
That's very nice though. Slightly more salt. It's very acidic right now.
Okay, there you go. Give that another stir, give it another try.
It's good.
I like that.
It's very good.
Yeah. And what's nice is since we use the chobani thing, I'm just gonna pop the lid on it and this is done. So remember we were talking about earlier, we're gonna separate a few things. Yeah. This one you can just keep in your fridge.
That's
so it's not in your, you don't, no. I made the mistake of like, oh, I'm just gonna bake everything together. I'm like, well, damn it, I'm either gonna eat cold meat or hot yogurt. Nobody wants either one of those things.
If I were to not make tzatziki, but yogurt sauce, is that very much the same thing?
It is. So we actually have a card for Thum in here, which is a yogurt sauce. Very, very similar. It basically doesn't have the dill or the cucumber. It doesn't have the lemon juice either. So we just do garlic, salt, pepper, and the yogurt, and that's it.
Okay.
The timer just went off for the potatoes.
Let's have a look at them.
Yup. Look at that. He's a natural. What do you think? I think those are nice. So what we want to do is just try them. Yeah.
These are nice.
Yep. Oh, hot. Now the last thing to do that I mentioned was a little bit of a gift for George is the pickled onions. So one of the presents I have for George are the pickled onions, and there's a reason for that. I recently did a meal prep video where I did Walmart versus Whole Foods.
I saw that
one. Right, $100 for each, and this is still some of the damn onions because I made so many from Walmart, and they're good. They're pickled onions. They last forever. So these are going to be one of the sides that we don't have to make today.
Okay, so if you want to see how to make this, click here.
Yep, go. Yes, on the card here, on my second channel, not on this channel. I know, it's weird, things are happening. But we also have the tzatziki, and we also have the marinated cucumbers, right? The miso
These
cucumbers.
are done.
These are done.
I don't even need to put them with the other foods?
Nope.
Why not?
There's a reason. You don't want to heat up yogurt, and you don't want cold meat. So what we're gonna do is...
Help me what to do.
Oh, I know
You're
you
not my
can,
mom.
if you want to have it that way. But ideally, especially if you're working from home, you can mix and match any of these.
Okay.
But the potatoes and the kufta, we're gonna put in one container that you can microwave.
Okay.
Ready?
That's it.
So these are the meal prep containers. I actually need a 6th one because we made 6 kebabs.
Oh, we just eat the 6.
Oh, okay, we'll just eat it.
We share it, have it.
That's fair, that's fair. These are the potatoes.
Okay, you lied actually.
Oh, I did? Did I bring 6?
Yes.
Okay, well don't use it, we'll eat it.
Okay.
Now with this, if it does stick, I take a spatula and I just kind of remove it. And then we just kind of split it up. So I'm just gonna take a little bit into each one, right? So if you wanna do that, and then what we'll do, I'm gonna follow him with the kufta. So this way, we're gonna take one of these giant kufta kebabs and just literally place it there. So this is the hot meal prep. And for this, he can add whatever he wants to. You know, be good with this in the morning as a hash, like microwave this, chop this up in a pan and throw some eggs on top of it. Ooh. That's how I would eat that, dude. That sounds so good. We're gonna keep one of of these burger-looking ones for us to try.
And honestly, it took us now, with filming, 1.5 hours?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah. So it's really not that bad, and especially because it's kind of teaching at the same time.
Yeah.
If you were to do this at home, you could do it in under an hour. I really feel like you could.
And then now I close it, yeah?
Yeah, these are going to be your hot meal preps, and you're ready to go. Okay. If you microwave, just remember that the potatoes will get a little soggy, right?
Oh, air fry it is.
Air fryer, yeah. Whereas the kufta actually does really well in the microwave because it introduces more moisture. But we were able to get George 5 lunches or dinners.
That's so cool.
Right, and it's just a little, for me, it's more of, you're getting something healthy, you're getting something that's a bunch of protein, but also less headache, right? So you can pop those right behind. And then since we packed all the potatoes, we're gonna have what's called a keto tasting. This is just gonna get microwaved. 1 kufta. Do you want to plate? Here, you know what? You finish plating up. I will eat however you make this. Okay. I like how you're plating it up like compartmentalized versus I would have literally thrown everything on top of each other like a madman and just eat it.
We need to use the space. We need to use the space, right? Because if everything is on here, it looks very empty. Now it shows off how much we did.
Oh, that's fair.
Look at this.
Look at it. It's beautiful. This is our little tasting. Hopefully that knife actually cuts anything. Ooh, that's nice.
So this is okay for beef?
Yeah.
For a pork one, you wouldn't want it.
For pork, no, you want it further. But also remember, you're gonna reheat this again.
Yes.
So I only heated it up for about 30 seconds. You're gonna reheat it one more time. Okay. So I'm gonna try this by itself. Again, this is very lean beef. Okay, cheers.
It's nice.
Personally, I would add a little more salt, but we still have the other stuff.
Yes.
So I'm gonna try it
with the sauce.
With the sauce and the onions.
It's really nice with the sauce.
Or so good with tzatziki.
Whoever came up with this combo, great choice.
My ancestors. Or maybe your ancestors.
No, I just came.
Well, technically not your ancestors.
No, I mean for the cooking.
Oh, thank you.
That was me.
Cookingwithchaos.gg. 60 random, that's so spicy. 60 different cards you can mix and match to make completely new meals. And like I said, George picked the cards for this one, and he could have picked other things to go with it. So if he didn't want the tzatziki, instead we could have made a chimichurri sauce to go with it instead, which probably would have worked out really well too. It would have been a little different of a flavor and really fresh. We've been working on these for 2 years. I would love for you guys to check these out at cookingwithchaos.gg, but you're gonna see a ton more info in this on the next few weeks. Pre-orders go live right now until November 15th. So we're kind of launching it as like a Kickstarter. So make sure if you want the special editions, head down to cookingwithchaos.gg, get those right now. And if you pre-order via the website, we're going to include 3 mystery booster cards from a future expansion pack.
Buy them, because then I get more free food.
Let's do it. So how did you feel about all of this? Was it
honestly
really difficult?
I picked things that I would really like also know how to cook. And this was a lot easier than I thought. Like the tzatziki I thought would be way harder. The kofta I thought would be way harder. So I'm honestly pleasantly surprised how easy it was. Yeah. So I'm looking
not as
forward
intimidating, right?
No, not as intimidating now. The biggest part with these recipes is it always sounds rough.
Yeah.
Even if you see a video, right, it always sounds rough. But now going through it once, I'm like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
You should try it out. It was really, really easy, all of it. I didn't even have to do the shopping.
Yeah, so, so that's one part of it. Find someone to just buy your groceries, I guess. Thank you, George, for being here. And also that's all of your meal prep and also all of this. But we should go get some pastries now.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Wait. Oh, yeah. My name is Chef PK. And remember, keep playing with your food. Okay, we have to disappear. Run away. Like a Naruto figure. Wait, we don't have stairs.